Why Blazing Saddles' most loved line was a mistake. Blazing Saddles is one of the funniest and most famous comedy movies ever made. It's a wild western full of jokes and satire, made by the legendary Mel Brooks. The movie makes fun of old cowboy films and also talks about serious issues like racism and corruption. Even though it came out over 40 years ago, people still love it today because the humor never gets old. But did you know that one of the most loved lines in the whole movie almost didn't happen? And that line was actually a happy accident? Let me tell you the story behind it and some other cool facts about the film. Mel Brooks was careful during the writing to not upset anyone. The movie has a lot of racial slurs, especially the N-word, used by bad guys. Brooks worried that using those words might cause trouble with the studio or upset the audience. Luckily, his co-writer Richard Pryor and actor Cleveland Little convinced him it was okay. Pryor said if the bad guys use those words, it's fine, but if good people use them, then it's a problem. So they kept the language real for the story. One funny scene that people remember is when Mongo, a big tough guy, parks his horse in a no parking zone. When someone tells him to move, Mongo just punches the guy and his horse, knocking them both down. This scene wasn't made up, it was based on a true story Mel Brooks heard from his old boss. Even though it's hilarious, some people, especially animal lovers, didn't like it. But don't worry, no horses were hurt during filming. Another interesting thing happened with the actor playing the Waco Kid. At first, it was Gig Young, but during an early scene, he was actually so drunk that they had to stop filming. So they fired him and brought in Gene Wilder, who did an amazing job. Years later, Gig Young sued the studio for breaking their contract. Some actors took their roles very seriously. Slim Pickens, who played the mean outlaw Taggart, wanted to feel like a real cowboy. So, he slept outside with his rifle every night to get into character. Mel Brooks himself inspired one of the movie's scenes. In the film, Sheriff Bart holds a gun to his own head to prove he's not afraid. Brooks got this idea from when he was a kid and pretended to steal something from a store, holding a toy gun. Warner Brothers, the movie studio, didn't like the film at first. They thought it was too strange and funny in the wrong way, but Brooks believed in it. And when the movie came out in a few big cities, the audience loved it. Soon, it was a huge hit all across the country. Now, about that famous line, when Waco Kid tells Bart that the townspeople are just simple farmers, morons, the last part wasn't in the script. It was improvised by Gene Wilder during filming. Cleveland Little laughed so hard it almost didn't make it into the final cut, but luckily it stayed, and it became one of the most quoted lines from the movie. Finally, there's a funny little fact. At the end of the movie, Harvey Korman's character buys Raisinets candy at the theater. This joke made Raisinets sell way more candy afterward. The company even sent Mel Brooks free boxes every night, though Brooks himself didn't like the candy. Blazing Saddles broke rules, made people laugh, and left a big mark on comedy history. And sometimes, the best moments come from mistakes or quick thinking on set.